is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler. Civilized bears taking over.
You were
Shitting
singing-
in
you
people's
was-
toilets. What?
You were singing this song before we started recording.
Yeah.
I don't know where this came
Then
from.
I learned to work the stove. Got a hot dog and boiled it. What?
About a bear just chilling out in some
Civilian
dude's
bears.
They're more scary to me because
I'm never going to take a shit in the woods again.
They lure you in with their kindness, and you're like, oh, these gentle giants, and then the moment they'll snap your neck
you.
and eat you in a second.
But they will shit you out in a human toilet.
Exactly. Isn't that the more scary thing? That
And they-
bears would evolve
They flush. They know how to use the plunger.
right in a horror movie. Fuck, like cocaine bear, what?
Yeah, fuck that.
Whatever.
Civilian
So
bear.
civilized bears, because
Civilized
again,
bear. Civilian
them-
bear.
if they think about a bear.
They told him he had to join the army, but he was like, fuck
By the
that.
way, this segment's sponsored by Joe Rogan's podcast, apparently.
Wow.
Because I'm like, think about a bear with the level of a human intellect, right? Think about that. That's horrifying. Think about it. Anyway, this is off panel, off topic. As you can tell, it's a slow news week. But welcome
well, the
back.
bear's not bulletproof.
I'm Jake.
I
That's
mean,
Tyler.
I'm Tyler Allen.
Oh, rockin'
shitting
it.
in a human toilet.
Civilized.
Got a hot dog and boiled it. The baby's singing with me.
The baby bear.
Yeah. I learned to shit in the woods.
Funny thing you talk about bears, because the three Goldilocks and three bears are a big part of the movie I want to talk about later. So, yeah, it just hit streaming. So it was exciting. Look at that. That's how we do this show. Look at those segues.
We are in the moment.
Living it up.
Give it
being
in
friends. Anyway,
and
this is too. We're already off to a sing-songy start. So let's just tone it down.
chill out a little bit and take it back a notch.
So we got a couple things.
I also had like a long john, like I had a big.
You got a lot
ass
of sugar
donut.
in
I'm
you,
on
huh?
a sugar high. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
for
been
sure.
sipping on some coffee. I'm
got
jittery.
milk over here, but I also got a Coke.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian once again. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again, all the casting news that's come out in this past week. Bob Iger saying he wants newness for the MCU. And then, of course, our usual segments. And we'll wrap up the show. So let's get into it. Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 2. What was this one? The Mines of Mandalore. Chapter 18, I think.
Sure.
Okay, so last week we were kind of on different levels. You were like B plus. I said A minus. I was much higher on.
I was more
last week's
B,
episode.
straight B. B
So
minus.
I was pretty hyped up coming into this week. Like I was sick all week long, but I made
Right.
sure I watched The Mandalorian this week.
the thing
'cause
was,
I was that into
the
it.
thing was is that I have like 4 shows that I need to watch right now. One of them just wrapped up on Thursday, Poker Face. Night Court's still going, so I got that on Wednesdays. On Mondays, I got Last of Us, which I didn't finish this week. I'm sorry.
Mandalorian on Wednesday.
Mandalorian on Wednesday. So, I keep, sometimes I'll forget about stuff, and I forgot about Mandalorian until like Thursday, I think, or Friday even. And finally watched it, and I put it off, but then as I started thinking about it, I was like, wait, he's going to Mandalore. I'm like, you want to watch this. And so I watched it, and yeah, pretty cool.
Spoiler free. That was your.
I enjoyed it. I just look. There's gonna have to be a point where you can't make
Sorry.
too many waves in this universe unless you. Okay, so I've heard Disney talk about wanting to reboot the Star Wars and do a new trilogy with the same characters or something like that. I don't know what they're talking about. But you can't just erase a trilogy, I don't think.
I don't think that's true. I think that's.
I think that's too difficult anyway. So I mean, so what I'm saying is like you have to find a way to kill all these people off
Yeah.
before they make any sort of concrete.
I mean, that's what you had to do with the sequel trilogy.
You
At
can't
some point,
unite the Mandalorians and then not have any mention of them in the fucking trilogy, in the sequel trilogy at all. That's stupid. And that's the fucking trap that these guys are stuck in.
And yet, like, there's not even a mention in The Last Jedi. Like, if you had planned it properly, you could have Luke say something about Grogu in...
Hey, did you fuck at one point, Yoda? Because I met your kid, I think. I don't know why Luke's a redneck.
But that's
hey, listen here, Yoda.
I understand that criticism
funny.
because that's something I mean, I was okay with it initially, especially in that first season of it just being attached in a sense of like, yeah, it's just in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, which is fine. But then when in the second season, when they went really big and got Luke to come back and be a part of the story, and then Ahsoka and Boba Fett, like, to me, the Boba Fett thing would make the most sense to tie that in because obviously, when people think of the Mandalorian, before they knew of the show or
these
knew
guys
the character, they thought that's a Boba Fett show.
These guys have painted themselves into a corner, and Favreau knows it, I think. And I don't know how he thinks he's going to get out of this one. And man, I got some.
I have a lot of faith in Filoni, though.
I have faith in both of them.
Yeah,
I just know that they're probably sitting there going like, "Fuck, what do we do next?" I mean, how do you? Are you gonna try some bullshit red herring at the end of season 4 and be like, "Oh, he had a memory device that blanked everybody's memory of him ever existing"? Like, like what is it gonna be? Right?
Yeah. Which is what's so frustrating because you're seeing Star Wars cancel like. Well, let's just talk about this episode on its own.
Right, yeah, because we got to talk about the cancellations.
We could go on a whole diatribe.
We got to talk about Disney eventually fucking these IPs completely sideways.
Yeah.
They are going to at some point. They're not infallible. And Feige's either going to quit, get fired, or die at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's shepherding these IPs is going to go by, either retire or, whatever. And it doesn't matter to Disney.
You're always going to have to recast these actors.
Disney owns Iron Man.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You're going to constantly have to... That is an issue that they've run into where, yeah, you're going to have to constantly make different versions of this character. Like where you see Iron Man has Iron Heart and you're seeing... And I'm surprised they haven't tried this yet in the MCU of bringing in Miles, but they, something like that. And we've seen with the Spider-Verse and things like.
So how does that work? Is Miles Morales Sony?
Yes.
Okay, because Spider-Man and all of his.
Sony owns
characters.
all Spider-Man stuff.
Right, gotcha. So
that's why they're always
Spider-Man,
when it's a Marvel Studios movie, they're still getting more money.
Molten Man is a Spider-Man villain, so he is not available for the MCU more than likely.
Mm-hmm. But anyway,
and he's way cooler
the
in the comics than just a big old lump
itself,
of shit on fire.
We spend most of the time on Mandalore.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's what you wanted. So we got to it. I knew we were going to get into it, I think, within the first
Oh, did you?
episode. I knew they were going to try and do that early because I've heard that the next episode is like an hour. So, like, there's planning something big early with bringing back the Mandalorians to Mandalore or something. We talked about this a few years ago about how when you explained to me the Mandalore Jedi War, and I wanted to know more and more about that, and I wanted to see that in live action. Do you think we might get a flashback sequence or something back to the Mandalorian
as far as I
lore?
know, that story is told in the Clone Wars cartoon series, either flashback or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know. I've never seen Clone Wars.
The destruction of Mandalore, as far as I know, takes place in an episode of the Clone Wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to look into that.
Bo-Katan is from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Dave Filoni ran the Clone Wars. Yeah. That's why we're going to see a lot of...
And so is Ahsoka. Ahsoka was in Clone Wars.
Well, she was invented for, I think, Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Well, he used, but that's not.
No, she was a character in. Wasn't she a character in the? No, she was created for the Clone Wars. Yes.
Yeah,
For
Filoni
Dave
created her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A lot of what you're seeing in The Mandalorian, as you know, is the Filoni stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of it's good. I'm just.
But that's look. Filoni really, really knows this world and the lore of this world. You know, he worked with George Lucas for so long. Like he knows it as good as maybe even better than George Lucas. Like,
right. Well,
how all this works.
He's created characters in this universe that are iconic.
Right.
The only other person to do that really is JJ.
Which is why I understand
George Lucas.
I understand your concern, but I also understand. I feel like anybody's going to know the timeline. It's going to be him, and he's going to understand how to possibly work that in. But you're right.
I'm not worried about him
can't
fucking up the timeline.
You can't retroactively
I'm
change
worried that
those other
he's
movies.
already written himself into a corner, and he's like, "How the fuck do I get out?" And have to use some stupid
and
what are they called? The plot device.
Yeah.
It's not a red herring. Those are ones that throws things off. But it's a plot device, but it's basically it just fixes everything.
A Deus Ex Machina.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's usually something that saves the heroes at the last minute.
Like the Darksaber?
Yeah. So anyway, we keep
Yeah.
dancing around episode 2. Episode 2, I think,
Dancing around.
I think it did a really good job of providing a little bit of a horror, like not necessarily scary, but like
Certainly
suspenseful.
that Star Wars kind of like, ooh, the Wampa's coming, but what is it?
Also, IGN gave this episode a 5 because they said it was too dark. And I was like, did they lighten it up after that review? Because I didn't think it was too dark. I was able to see everything. Maybe my brightness was set higher than this guy's, but I thought that was a weird critique.
The lighting?
Yeah. I didn't have any issues.
I think you needed to adjust your TV set.
I saw everything just fine. The reviewer didn't. The IGN guy.
So as a journalist, I think you need to go and grab somebody and go, "Hey man, you're the only other one in the office, and I just want to make sure I'm not like completely dumb. Can you come and watch this with me for a little bit and tell me if it's too dark?" And then the other guy would be like, "Well, your settings are all fucked up." And he would have fixed it, and you would have given it what is it out of 10?
Yeah.
So what would he have given it instead of a 5?
I don't know, maybe a 7 or 8.
Honestly, dude, you don't know how to work a TV. Who fucking cares what you think about the episode? Dude, you don't know how to work a TV.
Anyway,
shit.
Moving on. I just thought that was a weird critique.
Yeah, because he has no critique. So he's like, well, I got to get clicks somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, dude.
I love
everybody's in the game for something, dude.
I
Just
love
like us.
the like weirdness and like because the wildlife and the dudes that they're fighting, like the cavemen type looking monsters.
Well, those are, I believe, aliens that have existed in the, I don't know, in the Star Wars universe.
Well,
I
she
think
explained
they were in Jabba's palace. One of them.
She explains. Well, Bo-Katan in the episode says they lived there. Like they were.
No, I know, but Ammonites or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't buy it.
I like that whole sequence of the fight and then the descent down further into the mines. I really thought that was cool. It is awesome that we are on Mandalore. Like, I just think that's really cool.
So I know these motherfuckers have like radar and shit and stuff and lights and okay. So I got a problem. These smart fucking shows are really pissing me off. The Last of Us. Hey, I'm going to give you my blood, so I'm going to cut my palm open. The dumbest fucking place to cut yourself.
She's a kid.
Are you kidding me? Let's be smart. You're a smart writer. Don't do what every other dumb writer does in every other TV show and cut your palm open. That's dumb. You do like your hand or something, okay? Let's do that. And then here, I know it's TV shows, but we're smarter. We're a smarter audience. So fucking stop treating us like we're idiots, okay? That hand is not going to heal forever. You got to use it constantly. That makes no sense. Stop doing it, TV and movie writers. Stop with the whole cutting the palm. Stop it. That was on The Last of Us. This one, these guys are supposed to be really, really great warriors, right? Why do they have a fucking pinpoint light so everybody knows exactly where to aim to take them out? Boo, boo, boo. There's their headshots.
Where else are they going to put
gone.
their light? How else are they going to see in the dark?
Did you see when she showed up and she put that thing in the air?
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, no.
Not everybody has those, man.
She did.
But just because she did doesn't mean
Okay,
I would.
No. Are you a Mandalorian? I'm sorry. Are you in a TV show where somebody can write you having whatever the fuck they want you to have at any time?
He's never been to Mandalore. She has.
I don't. Come on. Look, in Vietnam,
that a fair argument?
When the tunnel rats would go into the tunnels to clear out the
show,
Viet Cong,
you just want to hate.
they would never put the light right here. They put it up here. Okay?
Up where, dude? It's audio.
Above your head.
Thank
Way
you.
above your head. Not only do you get a better
Arm's
vantage
length
point
above your head.
Well, yeah, but also if
Your arm's
somebody's
gonna get
shooting,
tired, though.
These shows are supposed to be getting smarter and smarter, and yet they keep using these same dumb tropes that we've all complained about before. Be fucking smarter.
I have not complained about the light.
I am complaining.
Okay.
And I have and I will.
Hey, man, that is...
How else are we going to get people
you
to
hear
click?
Ashley up there?
What?
Maybe she's talking to the baby, but I think
She might be talking about me.
No, she's talking to the baby.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
You never know.
Hey, you know what? If she had been talking to me, it's fair.
Yeah, because you're being a little ridiculous about the
Really?
light on the helmet.
Really?
My goodness. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, sure. I understand that you have... You just have to accept that when you watch a show or a movie, you take logical steps with it because you're like,
Right.
it's a
like
story.
a light that floats above you. That shows up at some other point in the episode. Hey, why not just fucking stop all of it? No lights on your helmet. How about a big floaty thing that stays above you?
How would he have known about that? He's never been
What?
into mine.
He's like, oh my God, no.
Although he
no,
should've-
she had it. So they, what? No, you're making my brain hurt. No.
No, I'm saying
He would have had one of those things.
instead of her.
Both of them would have it.
That's what
It's a device.
Whatever. I understand.
My God. You just don't understand military warfare.
Especially galactic military warfare.
God. I'm not taking you on my Starship Troopers fantasy dream
know.
walk.
I don't know why we went on that diatribe.
Because, dude, come on. Be smarter. How many times have you seen... Listen to me. If you, for some reason, had to give blood to somebody or whatever, dude...
Can we stop talking about that and
No.
just talk about the Mandalorian,
How many times
please?
do you see like somebody having to give blood into like a thing to
I
like
know,
open it
yeah.
up and they do their palm? Nobody fucking does their palm. That will never heal.
I get it, man. We got to move on.
Do we?
You've made
How
your
much
point.
time do we have?
Not a lot.
Oh, we don't?
Left on this earth.
2 hours? Okay.
If you keep this shit.
Be smarter, television. And movies.
Are you done?
No. Yes.
I'm talking about the things
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
What does TED stand for?
I like the big mechanical thing that got him.
That was neat, but I wanted to see what else happened to him because he scuttered away, remember?
Yeah.
At the end. Like the helmet scuttered away. At the end.
Yeah,
Not at the end, but
pretty
like
sure
before
she
the
killed
end.
it.
No, not the little helmet. She killed the guy.
Not the little helmet.
The helmet, while they were getting each other, she was getting him out of the thing. Like the helmet, the eye opened up and like scuttered away, like grew legs and scuttered away. The little tiny helmet.
I don't think I remember seeing that.
I think I'm just watching. I'm just on a higher plane of existence.
You're watching John Carpenter's The Thing. That's a different thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that part where Kurt Russell put that flamethrower to What?
No. I love the story of how they got a guy with no arms to like make that practical effect look real.
One day we'll just have to talk about The Thing.
Oh,
One day.
love that movie.
It's a good one.
Still so good. Still. Even the cheesiest special effects.
This is by far the worst review we've ever done.
So I give it a C.
No, I really liked the exploration more into the mind and the lore of all that stuff.
Who didn't see him falling like a ton of way, like into the fucking?
Yeah, what was that?
Depths?
And then how did her jetpack
Again,
work in the
radar,
water?
You got right. You got radar. God, be smarter.
But it
just drives me nuts.
But we saw a mythosaur, we think.
Oh, that was fucking cool. Talk about my pants being tight.
I'm excited for what's to come. I really am. I'm still pretty high on it. I think
No, I'll still watch it, and my criticisms are nitpicky, to be sure. They are. They're really, But yeah, be smarter about this shit. I mean, dude, I saw him walking down the steps, and it was like, gee, I wonder if he's gonna fall into a sinkhole, or the steps just end, and there's like thousands of feet of like nothing, and he's gonna sink like a stone because he's covered in Beskar. Fuck. So mad.
I feel like you're so unreasonably mean to this show. I just don't get it. Maybe because you wanted it to end a season ago?
Yeah, they should have ended it after the first season.
I don't know about that.
Okay, second one. No, but it's not sustainable. At some point, you're going to have to come up against the fact that you are changing a fundamental element of this universe that doesn't show up anywhere like 10 years later in this other trilogy. Whether you like it or not, people are going to be like, hey, man, what the fuck? Like me.
I think the first episode was better, but I'll give this a B+.
I'll give it a B+.
All of that shit talk, and you still give it a B+. Wow.
Because it was pretty cool. The Mythosaur was pretty fucking badass.
And all the things. I just love the fact that we're getting weird and spooky with the Mandalorian. Anyway,
I think what
I'm still
made me
with
mad
you.
about the Mandalorian again was when they shoehorned 2 fucking episodes of the Mandalorian into Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that I still wish it was the show where it's just a bounty hunter, but there are still some things that I
You
really
could have
like.
kept that going for goddamn ever, dude.
Yeah.
Just no particular you could have had Cobb Vanth, you could have had him. You could have had all those characters showing up as guest stars. You could have made it like a Columbo Western type of thing. You know? What are you doing?
There's something wrong with my headset. I was listening to you.
Oh.
But yeah, you could have done yeah.
Bounty hunter,
well, it's
bounty of the week.
I'm worried. Well, this is what I said about Obi-Wan, and this is what I said with all of this stuff. This is the problem where we keep going backwards instead of forwards.
Here's what,
but
remember, I think Obi-Wan actually did it in such a way that there is no concrete change to the fundamental universe. Darth Vader's still Darth Vader. Obi-Wan's still in hiding. Leia's back on Alderaan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they did it, it actually enhanced when they first see each other in Episode 4 on the Death Star. I went and watched that part after that battle in what was it, the final episode or the second to last episode of Obi-Wan. The big battle between him and fucking Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I went and watched that again, the Episode 4, where they meet up and,
yeah,
Alec Guinness and shit. And it's really, zzz, zzz, zzz,
yeah,
really tired and shit. And it meant so much more. Those basic fucking strokes.
to see that he was truly done with it.
Were just meant so much more, dude, because also it's never really explained between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy how what's his name knows that he's Darth Vader. I mean, he fights him on Mustafar.
Yeah.
But I don't think he refers to himself as Darth Vader at that point and during the fight.
Wasn't
at any
it,
point.
Reva, doesn't Reva say it's Darth Vader or something? That in the Obi, are you talking about in the Obi-Wan show?
I'm saying in the Obi-Wan show, it's explained how Obi-Wan knows that Darth Vader is Anakin.
Oh yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, in the final battle in Episode 3, he doesn't refer to himself in Obi-Wan's presence as Darth Vader.
Anyway, we're moving on.
And as far as he knows, he died. Remember?
Yeah.
He doesn't know that Palpatine came and got him and shit.
It's just, I understand. I would prefer something away from what we're used to, and
right.
not relying a lot
Agreed.
on nostalgia and stuff like that. Because I think too much of entertainment relies on nostalgia and
I'm
stuff
saying
like that.
Obi-Wan needs to be one season and that's it.
We've said that. We've said it before. We're moving on.
Damn you!
We're done.
I get all my panties in a bunch and you won't let me finish.
You finished. It was anticlimactic.
Typical man.
Yeah.
You're finished, so we're done, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're finished.
So let's move on to Daredevil.
I came.
Daredevil, Born Again, has some casting news. Started great, went downhill, and since my original posting of this, I couldn't get her name in time, but they recast Vanessa for this show as well. So first big news.
Vanessa.
Fisk's wife.
Okay.
John Barathol is confirmed to return as the Punisher.
Why?
Why are you so mad about
leave
the Punisher?
Leave him alone.
Why?
It's not a good character. Unless you're going to start doing all the shit they're doing right now with the hand, forget it.
Maybe.
Okay, but the Punisher's a boring
What better way to
character.
attach Daredevil to that? And go with that. Maybe tie that in some way.
Okay. Oh,
you don't know.
Okay.
But I understand the concern. I want to go back and actually give the Punisher show a shot.
I know.
And try and watch.
I watched the first episode.
Oh my gosh.
And I was done with it.
You're so
You want some of my sandwich?
Have you always hated the Punisher?
I'm a killer.
Have you always hated the Punisher before?
The Punisher has been
Jason Aaron?
Yeah, he's boring. It's a boring fucking character, and it's not sustainable. Somebody would have to take him in at some point. You can't just let the Punisher go all the time.
Kill all these people. It's true. But I'm excited, so maybe you're just mad the whole way through this segment.
I'm not mad about it, but when
Barenthal did a great job on the show.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Barenthal is amazing. I'll watch him in anything, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, I will. I will watch him in fucking anything.
Honestly,
he's a great
I think
actor.
he was one of the best things about The Walking Dead, and he was only in the first couple seasons.
Dude, he was on that show, We Own This City, where we run this city, whatever, on HBO Max, and he was like one of the bad cops, and he fucking killed it, dude. But I don't need any more Punisher. And when you couple that with the other casting news, it's like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to the whole Disney fucking up the IP eventually, because, gee.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is I think it's mostly his performance. I think he's really, really good at
give the Punisher his own show. I mean, just don't. Why do you gotta lump it in with
because they did it was very effective in season 2 of Daredevil. I'm not gonna say it was
fair.
Him and Charlie Cox had really good chemistry together.
That whole rooftop shit was just fucking
ripped
awesome,
directly
dude.
from the comics, just fucking awesome. So if we get more things like that,
and then they had to fight their way down the building.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was fucking badass.
I wish that show had one more season, because I wish that what they would have done is had the Punisher stuff in season 2, and then did the Elektra hand stuff that in season 3 that could have led into the Defenders. Then season 4 be what season 3 was, because that third season was incredible. It's just, I don't know. This is why I'm having mixed feelings about this, because I was really excited. Now I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm excited about him returning, but why am I? I know we're getting there.
Get to it.
I know what I'm doing. But we find out that Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, so Deborah Ann Wool and Eldon Henson will not be returning as of right now. Maybe they will. I don't think they're going to be. If they recast that, they're fucking that up. But
yeah, why?
Why would you? That was one of the solid foundations. That was the core thing of the show. Was that it was fucking the end of season 3 was Nelson, Murdoch, and Page. Like they were partners. They were.
She shows up like in episode 1.
She's there the whole entire series.
and dude, she by the end of the
her case is the whole first season.
I really only watched the first 2. There was 3, right?
Yeah.
I only watched the first 2 seasons. I never saw the third season.
The third season's incredible.
I know, but by the end of season 2, she is a fucking badass, dude. You know, she's taking control of her destiny.
In the first season.
She's taking control of her destiny. She's moved away kind of from Matt and Foggy and shit. And she's doing her own thing. And it's a great character arc. And if you want to fuck that up by not having that great actress back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sucks.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
And Eldon Hudson. Like, they did a whole episode in the show building up Foggy and Matt's relationship and showing how important they are for each other as friends.
Here's the only reason that I will give this casting news like, okay, that's fine. If they had specific ideas about the characters and went to these actors and said, hey, this is what's going to happen, and they were like, no, I don't believe the character would do that, or I don't believe the character would act like that, whatever. And instead of being like, okay, I'm willing to try a new interpretation of the character that I've already played, they were more like, I want to play that iteration of the character in this new show. And they were like, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is going to be Foggy's arc. This is going to be Karen's arc.
Yeah.
And they were looking at it as brand new characters, not as whatever, fuck
yeah.
As also continuations of the previous series.
Also, I'm wondering if it's not going to be as violent as the Netflix show was, because
I don't know, man. You got the fucking Punisher.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. I was so excited for the show, and then it kind of diminished a little bit with Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henson not coming back.
At some point, these people are going to fuck up these IPs.
It's great to have Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio back. That's great, but when they weren't, it wasn't just those two. Like that show, like Karen and Foggy were a big part of that show.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Which MCU movie would you say is the most rewatchable? Like that has made such an impact on your life that you have no problem watching it like over and over again. Like, with Midnight Run with me.
There's a couple, I think.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Captain America Civil War. Thor Ragnarok would be one.
Okay.
Or be a couple that I could think of.
The reason why I'm saying that is because
the first Avengers.
Recently there haven't been a lot of them.
The first Avengers is incredibly rewatchable, by the way.
Recently there haven't been a lot of them. It's been a lot of forgettable stuff.
Yeah, it's been a lot of.
It feels like and formula and pushing the story forward rather than making good movies.
When you look at it as a TV show, right? And we're in phase. We just ended phase 4, so we ended season 4. We're into season 5.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ant-Man was
right,
phase 5.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like each movie is kind of like its own season of television or its own episode. So the way I look at it is like. It's in a transition where the show has lost a lot of actors, and is trying to find their new identity, and that's kind of what it's going through. And you're right.
Stop talking.
I was like, let me finish, because I'm agreeing with you. But you're right. There's been a lot of like, it was okay movies. Not a lot of like, wow, Infinity War.
As a Marvel shill who will pretty much watch anything those fuckers put out, I am completely underwhelmed. And I think at some point this fatigue is going to set in. And if it hasn't already, did you see the drop off between Ant-Man's first week and second week?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen like that a lot more.
Yeah, because
with these
they've made it
movies.
these events,
right?
And you have to see it the first week because you'll get it spoiled on the internet. So you got to see it.
So guess what they're gonna try to do to make that not happen anymore?
Well, and I think that. And I think a lot of people
we're losing money off this? Well, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, and I think that the problem does kind of sit where I don't blame any consumer for enjoying this at all.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
No, I know that's not what you're saying either. But what I'm trying to get
we
at,
have to be prepared for this ultimately sucking fucking balls.
Because just laws of averages. Not everything is going to be the most groundbreaking.
What's the
thing
next one up?
in the genre, or
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What's after that?
probably the Marvels, and that got pushed to November, I think. I want to say I don't think there's anything else on Disney Plus or anything.
I mean, no shows this year?
There are. I don't know, man. I don't have the schedule in front of me. Secret Invasion's coming out this year at some point. I don't know. I think that's going to be before Guardians, if I were to guess. So I would say next month.
Yeah. All right.
Which would be insane because they've not.
No,
done
I'm still gonna watch this stuff. I'm just saying, Feige made the right choice, but I think he made it just a tad too late. You know what I mean? Like just about a year or two too late. I think if he had made this decision right before Infinity War and Endgame, then it would have been like, okay.
This is why
we're moving into a new way, but we're doing it slowly instead of here's 17 shows and 8 fucking movies in one year.
And this is why I think that this Born Again show is going to have issues because it was already attached to the MCU, but was it really? Well, let's kind of make it mash into the MCU how we want it now. But it's like, I don't know, man. There's just so much, and I was excited, but now that man, not having Karen Page, not having Foggy Nelson, that's a huge real.
I should stress that this has nothing to do with his with either of us. This has nothing to do with his portrayal in She-Hulk.
No, I loved him in She-Hulk.
Yeah,
and Charlie Cox is not the issue. Vincent D'Onofrio, they're going to be great.
I'm just saying, I'll bet you anything some of these grifters are going to be like, see, told you they're going to fuck him up. Like, no.
It's just like those real moments with Foggy and Karen and Matt, and were like some of the best parts of the show.
Sex.
And the fucking. Yeah. But I'm still going to give the show a fair shot. Hopefully at some point, maybe it's a contract issue. Maybe it's some
sucks?
sort of maybe they'll get sorted out and they'll come to the show.
You know what sucks? Off topic here, but you know what really sucks is that Dave Bautista is done playing Drax, and he's already played a character in the MCU. And you know who would make a perfect absorbing man?
Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Look at that fucking frame, dude. Fucking throwing around a big old steel ball and chain.
Just beating the shit out of people.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we already kind of started the MCU talk with Daredevil Born Again.
What else
is there anything else you want to talk about with that? I mean, that was mostly just the news, this casting news. They also got a replacement for Vanessa. See, like, changes to secondary characters like Vanessa Fisk, who is only, and that's no offense to the actress.
No.
It's just she's not written, like, she's a big significant thing to Wilson Fisk, but, and like a driving factor for him, but I don't know. I feel like she was kind of, wasn't portrayed to be as strong as she could have been, I feel like. So maybe they're trying something new. I don't know.
Look, I mean, there's something to say for a fresh start.
I don't think the first Vanessa was bad. I don't think she was bad at all.
She was, yeah.
I think everybody in that show was great.
Yeah, I think you're great.
Thanks, buddy. So anyway, yeah, talking about Marvel, and we're talking about how we know at some point
I didn't want you to hear, like,
Disney's gonna. They've run into an issue too, where it's just not. I don't think some of this stuff is sustainable. So this is from Bob Iger talking about Marvel.
Nah, Mom. I'm having a Tanemam.
You're recording.
Tanemam. We're recording?
Yeah.
You fucking douche.
I got him again.
You're gonna have a Mentmo.
Quote, Marvel.
Jesus, read. Sorry.
There are 7,000 characters. There are a lot more stories to tell. What we have to look at Marvel is at not necessarily the volume of Marvel storytelling, but how many times we go back to the well on certain characters. Sequels typically work well for us. Do you need a third or a fourth, or is it time to turn to other characters? There's nothing in any way inherently off in terms of the Marvel brand. I think we just have to look at what characters or stories we're mining. And if you look at the trajectory of Marvel over the next 5 years, You're going to see a lot of newness. We're going to turn back to the Avengers franchise, but with a whole set of different Avengers, end quote. Now, what he's saying isn't necessarily bad.
Or untrue.
Yes. I just... This is the problem when you keep constantly making legacy characters. And I thought the Hawkeye show was fun, and again, I see why you do these legacy characters, right? Scarlett Johansson's done. Like, the original 6 is pretty much done. ScarJo's done. Okay, we'll bring in Florence Pugh.
We
she's
pretty
a
much
younger
have Thor and Hulk.
She's a great actress in her own right.
Sure.
She's young. She can do a couple of these movies. She's the new Black Widow. Haley Steinfeld, great actress. Same thing. New Hawkeye. You know what I mean? We need a Hulk-type character. Ruffalo's kind of on his way out. We can make She-Hulk. And we already have these built-in legacy characters in the comics. Why not?
Yeah.
We already did it once with Scott Lang. Why not have his daughter now? Cassie do it, you know?
Why didn't she get a fucking superhero name in the movie? I'm pissed.
I'm so mad.
I'm pissed.
By the way, what we just described would be considered the MCU.
Civilized bear.
To the grifter people. You know that, right? We just proved their point.
Yep.
They're replacing all the men.
Yep. Now we hate it. They were rat.
Despite the fact that legacy characters like that have existed in comics forever, but whatever.
Are we going to talk about an hour and 45 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, let me.
But
okay.
We've already seen that process.
We're not
start,
using
right?
any names because fuck you.
But
yeah,
we're also. So we're already seeing that. So what he's saying isn't bad, but I see that some people, I don't know, maybe look at it a different way. There's some people I saying like, yeah, but what happens when they bring in all these other actors for Secret Wars and stuff? And I'm like, we don't know that. We have no proof of that. Maybe they don't do anything what we expect, you know? Maybe they do alternate universes, but it's completely different actors than what you'd expect, or things like that. I don't know. But
I just know
some
that
people I think are blowing this stuff out of proportion.
True, but I think my thoughts about the MCU are vastly different than even 2 years ago. And I know that glut of shit that came out after COVID had a lot to do with COVID shutting a lot of shit down. And they were like, we got to get all this product out. But
go ahead, finish your point.
I think that's about it. What were you saying?
Okay. Well, I was going to say with that, I kind of liked that 2020 didn't have any Marvel projects because I remember I was texting some friends. I was like, I miss it, so I'm excited when it's back. But they took that as like, yeah, you're right. We got to recoup these losses, even though we've made billions upon billions upon billions of dollars with these movies. We still have to.
Well, no, but they were on the schedule. Like they were all, you know. I mean, they had to be released.
Well,
at some
WandaVision, I think WandaVision was supposed to come out last, and it
was
flipped.
supposed to be Falcon Winter Soldier.
That was supposed to come out, yeah.
Then
that
Doctor
was
Strange
first.
Multiverse of Madness. Then WandaVision.
So, yeah, Multiverse of Madness didn't even have Wanda being the bad guy, I think, originally. And then COVID made him rechange everything.
I thought she was part of the story, and it drove into WandaVision somehow.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, instead of getting killed at the end of the movie, she went to Westfield or whatever.
But then they rewrote it to where she uses she
Well,
finds the Darkhold in the show.
WandaVision was before.
Yeah, they flipped it.
They had to.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
But I think I have some.
You go. I just think
that's what we call interruption fighting.
Yeah, you know, but I just think at some point, I mean, even I am going to be like, okay, what now? Like,
I don't want to watch we've talked about that a lot. I don't want to watch the Agatha show. I'm just saying, I probably
not unless you're going to bring in like, you know, Blade or something.
Maybe.
Some of these characters are just like the comic books. You're going to have to bring in a character that I care about to get me to care about the show.
But here's the thing, too.
I hate it.
Here's the thing as well.
Wolverine's showing up in Spider-Man. Why?
We're talking about
Spider-Man's having low sales. Agatha's not that good. Hey, let's have Blade show up. Why? Because Agatha kind of stinks. Why? We talked about this. We think that you and I don't know about you, but I definitely think that they had 2 episodes of Mandalorian in the can. And they were like, Boba Fett sucks. Can we fucking just plug those in?
Yeah.
And then they scrapped the story for Boba Fett and started over. So I don't know.
Just let it go, man.
Fuck off. Hey, up here. I thought we were going to interrupt fight.
I can't do this.
But what's going on?
These headphones suck because my other one's broke.
I'm sorry, man.
I know.
But at some point it's just going to be too much. And when I start to get sick of it, then dude, you better stop pumping so many dollars into this stuff. Cuz
Yeah, it's going to take a lot for me to be sick of it. I love this shit. I live for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
This superhero movie shit.
Mm-hmm.
I live for it.
I'll still watch it.
Yeah. No, I understand. I think everybody has a breaking point, and I think they're starting to realize that, and that's another reason why I think they push the Marvels, maybe give themselves a little more time, which I'm like, you should have been doing that before so people weren't crunching every hour of their life to finish these because you guys are shoveling them out so quickly.
Fucking
Take your time.
assholes.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that year that we did not have MCU properties, I missed it.
Is everybody hates us because we're out once a week?
Yeah.
We just need to be like once a month.
Never doing it ever again. I'm walking out of this
studio. Walking
studio.
out of this studio.
And I'm never coming back. Wow. That was good.
Hidden high.
Okay, stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
Down in the winter.
That also, but there's still so much. Like, he does make a good point, and that's the thing with DC as well. There's so many characters in your little.
You're such a character.
Yeah. In your giant database of lore that you can just pull out and make. And if you don't think that you can make something successful out of that, Guardians of the Galaxy, especially that Volume 3 coming out this year, I'm telling you, every time I watch that latest trailer, the last one they put out, where Rocket's talking about going to the great beyond, every time makes me a little sad.
Get a little sniffles.
And I'm like,
and you need a fucking tissue.
Thinking, oh my God.
Where's a goddamn cleaner?
How did James Gunn make me care so much about this talking tree and this talking
Bring
raccoon?
me a box of
you know what I mean?
Kleenex.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop it. Tissue.
Stop it right now.
Single tear down your cheek.
Also, did you see James Gunn just absolutely annihilating some douche on the internet? Some dude was like, why did you have to race swap the High Evolutionary? And James Gunn is like, I hired the best actor, period, so you can, fuck off with that racist stuff.
That shit is funny. Why did you race swap the High Evolutionary?
Hey, buddy. Hey. Can I tell you something?
They're fictional characters. Oh, dude, for real?
Do whatever.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought Stanley and Jack Kirby were going to come zombified out the ground.
Excelsior!
I'm going to bite you now.
Enough said. You're dead. Undead.
Undead. Till next time, true believers. Arr. That was the worst ever.
Dang it, I didn't have it turned
You
on.
fucking bullshit.
Crack cocaine.
That's what we're on.
Right now.
Right now, on the cocaine cracktain.
Yeah. We never did finish our... Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up so we can finish this delicious crack cocaine.
Yes. Before we get to the final segments.
We got it with whipped cream and nuts this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. We were talking about how
It really brings out the flavor of the crack.
Marvel... Well, we think Marvel is messing up. Well, we'll talk about Disney and Star Wars with all this... Because now the actor from The Acolyte is suing them because they announced a project and would promise these things, and then they canceled it. And... This is what we've been... How many times have we talked about this on this show where it's like, stop announcing all these projects.
Right. But
And
clearly,
then canceling all.
clearly this actor doesn't have a good lawyer because I think it's Damon Wayans.
You still get...
I think
Marlon
it's
Wayans.
Damon.
It's
Marlon Wayans still gets royalties from Batman and Robin? Or is it Batman Forever?
Batman Forever.
Yeah, but he still gets royalties for one of those because he was supposed to be Robin. And the way that his contract was set up, that even if he didn't appear in the movie, he was still going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who was in The Acolyte, man, get a better lawyer.
Because I think he was supposed to be in Batman Continues, the Tim Burton third movie. But
yeah. I think that's why he had the contract written the way it was.
Well,
Whatever.
So we also found out that the Kevin Feige led Star Wars project is scrapped. We found out that the Patty Jenkins Star Wars, what was going to be like Rogue Squadrons or whatever, that's scrapped.
Great.
Taika Waititi's apparently still getting the movie, and he might even be in it, which is no surprise because he's in all of his movies.
Yeah.
Well,
he's not a bad actor.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. There's some people being dramatic about it, but I'm okay with it. People on the internet being dramatic, including us. What?
Have you ever seen Our Flag Means Death? He was awesome in that, and he's like the executive producer.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Well, Jojo Rabbit.
He was great as Blackbeard.
Yeah, he's in he's hilarious in What We Do in the Shadows. That movie's
Yeah.
one of the funniest
Right?
movies, dude. Oh,
Never
I
seen
love
it.
that movie. Really? The show's great too. You should watch the show.
Your show.
Whoa.
Her.
You can watch one without the
You can
other.
watch one without the other and peanuts.
But yeah, so
Let's try to write a
I
jingle.
just feel like it's a crime to me that we're in the year 2023 and I haven't seen a Star Wars movie since 2019. Like a Star Wars movie in the theater, brand new, since 2019.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. No,
Fucking
have we gotten some great? I mean, Andor's great.
Obi-Wan was great.
Obi-Wan's okay. The Mandalorian's still good, still great. Boba Fett would have been better if it was just 4 episodes and not 2 Mandalorian episodes jammed in. Tyler, you made your point.
Also, let's not ever have a high-speed chase through the streets of Mos Eisley ever again, because remember that?
With those speeder bikes?
That looked like a really bad ride at Universal Park Orlando, you know what I mean?
Hop on tight.
Grab on and put this thing down above you, because if you don't, you're going to fall out the thing. How? We're only going 5 miles an hour, Grandpa. Shit. You turn up a little further there. Hell!
Yeah.
Did you bring the book down?
No.
You fucking piece of shit.
Hold on a second.
Wow.
I'm going to do something for you.
Yeah, we're going to pause?
I want to do something I've never done before. So this week we have Clear #1 from let me see here, Scott Snyder and
Francis Manipool?
yes, which is this was an interesting because we never done this before. When you told that to me, I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure that was a Comixology original.
What?
So yeah, it was released digitally on Comixology. So if you have Comixology Unlimited, you could read it. So I was like, oh, cool. Kind of a weird thing. So I guess Dark Horse is the one actually publishing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because this was a part of that like that big Scott Snyder deal that we talked about when we first started. Way back when we first started.
Way back, yeah.
A few months into it or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he signed like
feels like a lifetime ago.
8 original projects. That was one of them. So yeah, this is the #1.
Mm-hmm.
It's set in this like cyberpunk futuristic backdrop, and I think it does what Snyder does really well, which is plays with suspense and mystery, and because again, I was going back and reading those Batman books, and that's what I liked so much about the Court of Owls is how he played with the mystery of who they are.
Right.
And
well, the guy's the costume is pretty rad. I mean, he's got 2 handprints, bloody handprints, as his eyes on his motorcycle helmet, which is kind of cool.
And I love the art. The art is great.
Art is great. It reminds me a lot of like J. Scott Campbell from Gen 13 and also early Mark Silvestri, who was a long-time artist on the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men back in the day. And he was also one of the Image and Top Cow guys with Jim Lee. But yeah, the art is fantastic. But basically what's happened is that at some point, like every economy basically collapses and people go into this stuff and it's basically like an uplink to your brain. It's called veils.
Yeah.
Or they drugs. But basically you see everything
like
the way you want to.
Yeah, it's an uplink is because he talks about how when they found out that you are a computer and you are a hard drive, the hard drive is your brain.
Right.
Like that's when people
they unlocked it. Yeah.
They're like jacking into their
So
minds.
so they talk about this at one other point. Do you remember the barf simulation in I want to say it's Civil War when he's talking about like say goodbye to your father and like bye dad, like that's how I wish it would have turned out. Is that Civil War? Iron Man where he
in
does
the beginning when he does
this is the barf simulation.
Yeah, I think that was Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember how he turns everything off and there's still like solid objects?
Yeah.
They're not the objects that you saw, but they're there to represent solidness to make the simulation more whatever, right?
Yeah.
They talk about this at one point because Sam Dunes, the main character, is a detective, and he has refused to use any veil. So he sees things as they are.
Yeah.
And he talks about at one point how everything is sterile because everything is now designed to be veiled.
Right. It's
so like
everything
buildings,
is
nothing's
nothing
drab
pops anymore.
Yes,
There's no
everything's
billboards.
drab because
nothing.
everybody's using this uplink to make it look like whatever they want.
And I
thought that was interesting.
I like that this is kind of very. It's fun because it seems like these comicsologies on Snyder, he's doing genre stuff, and I like it. I really like that he's playing.
It's kind of noir a little bit.
But that's what I mean. This is a tech noir cyberpunk thriller. So like, and that's why I like it. It hits all the notes for me because those are all things that I enjoy.
Oh, I saw the cover and I was like, Katie and James this week at Mayhem. Katie, she said it was too early. Which
oh yeah, by the way. Thanks, Mayhem. For
I love to get a jump on it
on
Wednesdays because I've had Wednesdays off a lot lately, so I love to go in there like around 1 o'clock and be like, sweet, and get my comics. But she gave me a choice between a book that was Emily Kubert or Kubert, I don't know how you pronounce it, but there's these famous artists. There's a guy, and then he had two sons, Andy and Adam, and then I think she's one of their daughters. And she gave me a choice between that one, which was kind of fantasy related, and this one. And I thought, we kind of did fantasy with that first book. We kind of did horror with the second. Let's do like cyberpunk with the third instead of going back to fantasy. So even though I've said I don't want to influence it in any way, shape, or form, I did get a choice, and this is the one I chose. And I think I did a pretty good one.
Yes.
I still want to read that other one just because I'm really... If you're a fan of comic books over the last 40 years, you know the Kubert name. Kubert. I don't know how you pronounce it.
That's a guess. Don't.
No, that's how you spell it. But, I mean, with Stephen Colbert, I always have thought of it as a French name, like, so it's Kubert. But for all I know, it's Kubert or Kubert. I don't know.
Which is by the way, this is an interesting...
But the grandpa has, like, a art... academy that's been advertised in comic books forever.
I like again that he's doing genre stuff. So we're sticking with the idea of corporations controlling everything in this cyberpunk dystopia.
Yes.
And so with the veils that everybody has. You can pretty much create, and he talks about it. You can make whatever reality you want, and just
where everybody wants you, where everybody's dead.
Yeah, you just whatever you want, whatever your heart could desire. And again, it's not that far off from what we see with like social media and like how algorithms work on everything that you use, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. YouTube, everything's got an algorithm and everything's catered to you. So it makes perfect sense that in the future they would have technology that you pretty much just don't walk around in reality. You just walk around in this cozy world because, as you and I know, and as as Thanos, despite being who he is, he did make a good point. Reality is often disappointing. What are you doing?
I was looking up the Kuberts.
No. Well, anyway, I enjoyed this book. I think it's something that, especially since it's on Comixology, I'll have to pick up the other ones and finish reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's fun seeing Snyder do genre stuff again, and it's interesting if we'll also see something like this. That's not, and we've seen a couple of those with Substack. We talked about it a long time ago on the show. If we're gonna still see more things like this for Comixology and more artists doing things like this, where they do things out of the norm of what we're used to seeing them doing. Anyway, that's it for this week's.
So yeah, Emma.
I'm just gonna wrap it here.
That's fine. Emma Kubert. Yeah, Emma Kubert. I don't know if she's related to them at all. Anyway, are we doing long box? What the fuck, man? I was trying to sleep, bro. You better have a bowl for me to wake and bake, man, because this is bullshit, man.
Why are you ruining it?
I was asleep, man.
It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Sleeping, man.
It's a perfect little thingy.
Oh, you don't want to do an homage to Cheech and Chong? My apologies, sir. I don't know what happened. We got real mad. And then we started talking about Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong.
Box.
Long box.
Chicken fresh long box. All right.
That was enough.
That was terrible. Sorry you
We're
crashed
the
your
worst.
car.
We're the fucking worst.
Nailed it.
Sorry that we suck.
Oopsie. You want to go first? Or am I
You were
going first?
looking for a good podcast? Well, I guess you're out of luck.
Too bad.
Fucking shit. What? Me? So I got my Prime Video subscription back because I think The Boys is coming out.
I have no idea. Don't look at me.
Fuck you.
Don't you look at me.
Because I suck.
Why is it such a sing-songy episode today?
Because we just gotta get it out.
It's true.
I just gotta sing sometimes, man.
All right.
So I got my thing back for Newhart, and that's gonna be my long box in the future because it's a great show. But while I was kind of fucking around, like, what movies can I watch? Because I don't really like the Prime Video navigation. Because, like, almost every other streaming service, you're like, movies, comedy movies. Here it's like, these are the movies that you can watch. But, like, some of them you have to still rent or buy. And some of them are freebie, which is free with ads. And some of them are included with Prime and some of them aren't. You have to get, like, a subscription. So it's like, it's kind of irritating because you're like, oh, cool. And then you realize, I can't watch that. Fuck. So you're going through and everything, and you see the first RoboCop, which is actually the reboot RoboCop.
Ugh.
Right. And I'm like, no. I watched it once. That was enough. And then I see the original RoboCop. I have that on my YouTube library, okay? And then I see, no shit, RoboCop 2, dude. Oh, my fucking God. This movie was such a shit stain. It was bad. You know, the best part about it was that there was a lot of groundbreaking special effects in it at the time. There's a lot of portions with Murphy's disembodied torso, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Right? He's in hell. Can't you see?
Classic.
Right.
They somehow got
and then they
Peter Weller and
Nancy on.
Yeah.
And the guy who did Johnson. And the guy who did, yeah. The
I'm
old
just saying
man.
they got them to come back. Well, and the old man, yeah.
But so then they rewrite them all, and so he's like, "Hey, greetings, everybody. I'm Robo," and he's all nice and shit. And and finally he goes and zaps himself so that he has no directives.
I think I've mentioned it on this show, but you and I have talked about it before. I read.
Dude, they got Tom fucking Newne,
They
one of the
released-
best character actors, to do a big blockbuster movie.
I think it was Dark Horse whoever had the license to RoboCop at the time. They released the Frank Miller cut. So it was just RoboCop 2 and 3. They paneled the original scripts.
Yep.
And it was fucking awesome. I love that book. And I'm almost tempted to go and buy a physical copy of it because I read it on Comixology. I really want to get it as a physical copy because I love it. But I like RoboCop 2 a lot. Because it's so funny. Because it really, really leans into being funny. And I'm like, wow.
Okay, so here's a couple things.
It's so bad, it's
good. So they try really hard to emulate the first movie in that they show these commercials, but none of them go off nearly as well. The satire feels really forced, like the Magnavolt, the car thing that shocks the guy dead, the car thief dead.
Yeah, you could tell this was Miller's first movie.
Well, it was directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back. So I remember very distinctly when RoboCop was such a big hit, and they were talking about RoboCop 2. My brother was really excited because he's like, "Dude, it's the guy who did Empire Strikes Back. He directed that." And so we were all really hopeful because, hey, man, how bad could it fucking go? Frank Miller's writing it, one of the best comic book. We didn't know he was such a chud, but
He's redeemed himself.
I'm glad. But he was for a while, and
Yes.
and for a long time, and sort of around this time too. So, but we didn't know this, and we were like, "Hey, Frank Miller's writing it, Irvin Kershner's directing it, Peter Weller's back, Nancy Allen's back. It can't be bad, right?" It was pretty bad. The problem is that it just there are so many beats in the movie that fall flat. And that were meant to be like, hey,
Yeah.
So
I will say the malfunction scenes are fantastic.
right, where he's like,
Or the one where the guy just shoots itself.
you're talking about the mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And the one pulls his head off.
Yeah.
He pulls the skin off his fucking skull.
Yeah. Those are amazing.
They kind of redid that in Iron Man 2
like
a
it
little
has.
bit.
You're right. RoboCop 3, I will never forgive. But RoboCop,
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I don't remember.
Isn't it PG-13?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That's what I mean. I see why it's in your long box.
But I
because
forgot-
RoboCop 2 has some redeeming qualities.
But I forgot that there's a little kid with the drug dealers, Hob.
Oh my god.
Do you remember him?
Yes.
Right? What the hell is that all about? What is going on there? Shut up, you stupid bitch. You're like 11. What are you doing? Running a drug empire by yourself. You're going to put your eye out.
Yeah.
But it was...
That's what I mean. That's the Frank Miller stuff of it.
don't get me wrong. Like,
Apparently they took advantage of him and like cut that script to shreds. I don't know. The book
that's
version
what
was
I
pretty
heard
wild.
too.
But
Oh, the book version is...
this is what I mean.
Novelization.
He wrote a
we got that.
I think he wrote the comic book. He wrote the script like he would a comic book, I feel like. And it
jumps
it just
around a
doesn't-
lot.
It just doesn't,
There's
sometimes
a lot of...
you know how that
plates
is.
in the
Sometimes
air.
that just doesn't translate to movies. They're
Right.
different mediums.
There's a lot of plates in the air at all times during this movie, and there's moments when you're like,
but it works better as a comic book.
there's moments when you're watching like 3 or 4 scenes, and then you go to another scene and you're like, oh, I totally forgot about these people. What are they doing? Oh, cool. Okay, and then like the first like it happens a lot. You'll just be like, oh, I forgot about Dr. Fax. Oh, I forgot about these fucking assholes. I forgot about this cop who gets murdered in front of this kid in one of the most attempting it's attempting to be graphic, but the effects are not great when they cut his chest open.
Yeah.
But I will say, when I was younger, that was like, holy shit, dude. What the fuck? They're cutting his... And yeah, in the novelization, they do more than just cut his chest open.
Oh. Anyway, Is there anything else you want to say about RoboCop 2?
No, it's just like I said. It's got its moments. I'm sure Peter Weller at the end of it was like, I can't fucking stand this goddamn suit anymore.
He wasn't even in the last one either.
He wasn't in 3. It was Robert John Burke.
So you said, what was in your long box?
RoboCop 2. RoboCop 2. RoboCop 2.
Stop it.
Come on.
I want to do a seance.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, they're making a RoboCop game called RoboCop Rogue City, and it looks ridiculous, and I want to play it. It's a first-person shooter, so you don't want any trouble. And then you just blast them.
Dead or alive,
I don't know if you
you're
can shoot them in
coming
the
with
dick
me.
though. That would be a pretty good feature.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
So my long box,
Kane.
going completely different direction. My long box is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Wow, that is way the wrong,
Yeah.
way left.
Now people might say, Jake, look, even the best kids movie is okay for adults, right? I disagree. Some of the best kids movies are great for adults, and that's what I feel like with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because this movie affected me deeply, and I did not expect it. Because I was talking, I saw it on Peacock, and I wanted to see it because I honestly, the Twitter buzz about this movie is actually what made me watch it, because there's a bunch of people saying like, this movie goes way harder than it needs to. Like, this is really good, surprisingly good. So I was like, all right, it's got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
And I'm like, whoa.
Wow, right?
People really like it. These critics like it. People
Somebody
like
likes it.
Let's watch this thing.
Let's watch this thing.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I told Ashley it surprised me because this is a sequel that's over 10 years in the making. Mm-hmm. And it's for a joke character
that showed up in a Shrek movie.
That was a side character in a Shrek movie. He got his own spin-off in like 2011, 2012.
Never saw that, but it was popular enough, I guess, to warrant a sequel.
But to think that here we are all this time later, and this movie comes out, and it's not only it's very funny, but it's also a beautiful story about life and death and appreciating the people you're with, appreciating the life you're in, and appreciate, just stopping to, like, there's again, it's a kids movie, so like some of the metaphors are literally like right in front of you, where it's like, smell the rose. Like, there's literally a scene where they have to smell the roses to get out of a situation, and it's like, again, you're reminded at some points, like, this is a kids movie, right? You got to kind of, but and the fact that it is a kids movie is surprising, because there's some like really heavy adult themes, again, about anxiety, about again, just. Like, there's a sequence. I don't want to spoil anything for people that might want to watch.
Man, don't.
But there's a scene where Puss in Boots is having a panic attack, and you can hear his heartbeat, and he's sitting there going, just like freaking out, and I myself as an adult am sitting there and having a physical, like an emotional, because I'm about to cry, like, because I've had a panic attack, and I know what that feels like, and then his buddy, who is a dog, he just lays on him and calms him down. And it's like, and I've had Cooper's done that for me. Like, I haven't had like a huge physical reaction like that, but there's been moments where, and like, if I'm seeing that as an adult, imagine what that's going to do for a kid that's maybe experienced that, And it's just some things in that movie that I'm like, geez, man, that is too damn good. Like, I was just surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. Like, it is, again, a movie that I don't think anybody asked for. I think it kind of just came out of nowhere and surprised me. I think, and that's the thing too. It's also very funny. It's a solid kids movie. I enjoyed it more as an adult. I think the wolf villain in this is creepy. It's scary.
What's it on, by the way?
Peacock. If you have Peacock.
I do have Peacock.
There we go.
Just for Night Court.
But they got the dude who plays Pablo Escobar in Narcos. He is the voice of the wolf in this, the big bad wolf. And Big Bad Wolf's like, there's like, again, for kids movie, I'm like, this would be pretty scary. Like, the first thing you see of him, Puss is in a bar, and it's funny because he's got a shot of milk, and then he like actually laps it up, and then it's just you hear him whistle. He whistles every time he comes in, and then it's just dark or just like the light flashes or a lightning strike, I think, and then he's just sitting there next to him, and he's like talking to him. He's like, nobody ever escaped me, and he's got these 2 sickles, and there's this really cool fight scene. And that's another thing too, like the art style of this is so much different than, because at times it looks like the conventional 3D like DreamWorks animation that we saw with the Shrek movies and everything, and then there's other times when there's fights, it's almost like stop motion, and like a lot of like anime shots where like there's a sequence where they're fighting him and the wolf, and they're like coming at each other, and the screen goes to just black and red, and then like there's part where like there's impact shots like you would see in anime where like there's different color panels, like there's a lot of different arts, and they're having fun with the animation and changing art styles and stuff, and it's really cool. But again, there's a scene that happens early on where it hit me right away of like, oh, this movie is really living up to the hype already, because like it hits you with its themes right away, and it really delivers it. And there's so many like interesting things that this movie does, and I was again surprised at how much I enjoyed that movie. I would watch it again. And I'm not the only one. People that have seen it like love it. It's like a big thing on Twitter. People love that movie. So, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Yeah.
That's from me. Well, he said it, but I meant it. Yeah. Tyler.
Good times.
Good times. Can't remember what I said.
Did you see that other donut had the cream filling?
Yes.
It's awesome.
Everybody loves a cream filling.
They love the donut. Yeah, why are you so sing-songy this week? Hey, what's going on?
Is that cream in a donut?
Show. I ain't got nothing left.
You got nothing?
No.
You got nothing?
That's what you do. That's what you think, and you put in your shoe, and then you walk a couple miles to the nearest store and say, hey, can I get some whiskey? I got nothing. It's terrible.
That was great.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I don't think so, but okay.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty bad. You should be ashamed.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
I am upset with you. Half the time you don't even show up. And when you do show up,
Sorry, man.
you're high on
crack cocaine.
Well, if you didn't have a bowl of it sitting right by the front door.
I'll eat your ass.
keep it up. Keep it up. That's going to happen. I bet people love these stupid outros.
I don't know. You think people have turned it off by now? Do you
I would
you think
hope.
people actually believe that you're like truly that you do bully me? Because you don't.
I don't.
I wouldn't keep coming back. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.